What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Free Agent Palooza over here at Best Available. I'm so excited to be here. It kind of feels like Christmas Day. Even though the Packers, who I'm a fan of, may not be making a ton of moves, I'm expecting at least one. But before, the official legal tampering period begins, because obviously, agents are definitely not doing anything until 12 p.m. Eastern. There's definitely nothing happening. There are no conversations with NFL teams or anything. A few moves have already happened today. I'm sure a few Packers fans are watching this. We got to talk about the Rashawn Gary move. I'm still in complete shock about this. They trade Rashawn Gary to the Dallas Cowboys for a 2027, originally reported as a third-round pick, and then it's reported as a day 3 pick, and everyone kind of calms down a little bit. And then it comes out as it's a 2027 4th-round selection. Pretty shocked by that, to be quite honest. This is a guy that was going to be cut. He posted his goodbye message and was hacked with that graphic, but then turns out that it is, in fact, a trade instead of a release. Really, really disappointing finish to the season for Rashawn Gary, to the point where all Packers fans, it kind of seemed like we're just, accepting the fact that he was gone, like he was going to be traded. That was the end of it. Not traded, released. And then he gets traded for a premium asset. The Packers are in incredible position now for 2027. $31 million is off the books for 2027 with Gary's contract. They have significant draft capital, especially with compensatory picks, depending on how today goes and this coming week with free agency. I believe I saw something. It's 3 third-round picks, potentially 4 fourth-round picks. Thank you, Jerry. I totally agree here. Big shout out to Jerry Jones. But the amount of draft capital that the Packers have right now is kind of crazy for 2027. Not only the draft capital, but the cap space makes me feel like a move is happening. And one move that has now been reported publicly, and one that we had heard a bit behind the scenes, is that Javon Hargrave is potentially a Packer. A bit surprising on the smaller end of a defensive lineman, I would expect. Shout out Luke Cat just coming over. It's a bit on the surprising end, but Javon Hargrave sounds like he's going to be a Packer from some stuff I had heard pre-free agency. I had just seen Easton Butler, who seems pretty locked in on a lot of this stuff, just reported something and hinted that, Javon Hargrave is potentially a Packer. But yeah, that's confirming some stuff we had heard behind the scenes, and a lighter kind of nose tackle, but a very productive one, a very solid veteran. And one of my things I had kept talking about as far as the Packers, preseason draft strategy is going after, a veteran nose and then drafting one, in day 3. It was just a huge issue as far as, I'm sorry, Luke's distracting me. We got tweets coming in. It was a huge need because Nazir Stackhouse, Colby Wooden, who was the other day 3 draft pick rookie last year that just didn't do a whole lot. There was just some, issues as far as nose tackle. They're getting pushed around. That Ravens game really comes to mind. And then we're here and suddenly, now you have a potential to add a veteran, add a day 3 pick. You traded for a linebacker in Zaire Franklin. You're hoping for a healthy Micah Parsons. You're hoping for a healthy Lucas Van Ness. Potentially Devontae White if he's not gone. Warren Brinson, thank you. That was driving me absolutely nuts. Thank you for the comment. Sometimes you just space live. That's what editing and recording is for, where you can just go ahead and pause yourself and look it up just to confirm and not be crazy. I messed up Isaiah McDuffie and Trent McDuffie in a video the other day talking about Zaire Franklin. But yeah, I'm very hopeful about addressing the nose tackle position today if you're a Packers fan. Corner, I still don't know what to expect. They still have all these guys under contract on really cheap deals. Maybe if they are going to take a swing, it is for Jalen Watson, maybe someone like that. A Tariq Woolen. I'm very interested to see if they do take a big swing. But my expectation, if you're a Packers fan today, is some kind of veteran nose tackle and then some cheap stuff. But I also think they're a little hesitant about adding a cheap player because of the compensatory picks for next year. Because you're going to lose Rasheed Walker, Romeo Doubs, Malik Willis, maybe a Kingsley Enagbari. That's all going to factor into your compensatory pick calculation, and adding any players negates those draft picks or lowers them. Because right now they could be sitting at like a 3rd, 4th round pick. Ron Domosky is also just reporting right now that, Romeo Doubs will sign elsewhere in free agency. That's a lot of Packers talk. I know we're starting, but we're going to try to talk about the league as a whole, react to all these deals. Other moves that happened today: the New York Jets traded a 7th-round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick. I'm a bit surprised that the compensation was that low. Maybe the Dolphins had just been planning to cut Minkah this whole time, and we're just trying to get literally anything out of him. But for the Jets, I mean, I love the signing. Not only did they trade for him, they give him an extension. They need an impact player on that secondary. I think it was the first season. I don't know if it was franchise history or NFL history with 0 interceptions. That's just absolutely crazy. But Fitzpatrick can play so many roles on this defense. They just need a veteran presence that's talented. And when you can add him and then potentially a guy like Arvell Reese, Sonny Style, someone at the top of the draft, suddenly you have a lot more fun second-level defenders to work with. So I'm very, very curious to see what happens there. Tua Tagovailoa is likely going to the Atlanta Falcons from last I had seen, which is pretty interesting. Michael Penix isn't working out. Kirk Cousins is likely going to get a deal somewhere else. It's going to be good competition for Penix. I'm still not a Tua believer. It just ever since that hip injury in college, man, like he was such a fun, incredible college player. That injury and then a history of concussions has really derailed everything. But I am looking forward to seeing, if he does go to Atlanta, how he's going to, pan out. We are 3 minutes from the start of legal tampering period, and there's going to be more and more moves coming in. I'm only one person, and if you are watching, let me know in the chat as moves come in. Cite the source, all of that. Don't get me on some fake stuff. I wouldn't say I'm gullible, but it can be stimulation overload. I'm seeing Trent Williams on the timeline right now. Oh, wow. Okay. So the 49ers are open to trading Trent Williams if they can't get a deal done. I had said earlier when I was at the NFL Combine, I had heard a little bit of Trent Williams rumblings. But to me, it had just kind of screamed leverage play. Like this is one of the greatest left tackles of the modern era of football. And I had just felt like, you can't trade away a guy like that. I know he's like closer to, 38, 40 years old, closer to 40 than he is 30. But at the same time, like he's an iconic player. I would have just been really surprised to see, them move on from him. So I still feel like this is just a leverage play. The two sides are playing hardball. I would be really surprised to see if the 49ers did trade away Trent Williams. Like this is one of the all-time greats. And then for the team that's acquiring him, yes, he is an all-time great, but he's also extremely old and extremely expensive. That is going to be a really interesting situation to see how it unfolds as free agency is about to begin again. Thank you to everyone that's here. Again, as the only person on this live stream for now, we will have Justice Mosqueda shortly. Excited to have him on. I'm sure he'll have some thoughts about the Packers situation. Rashawn Gary trade that this poor guy lives on the West Coast. We had to wake up. We were pinging him like crazy as far as like, hey, like Rashawn Gary, not only is no longer a Packer, he was actually traded. Cannot wait to see all these moves coming in. What are some moves you guys want to see? Let me know in the comments. I'm very curious. What moves you're hoping for. One of the big names I cannot wait to see who's going to get moved is Alec Pierce with the Indianapolis Colts, formerly. As someone that lives in Indianapolis, okay, I like this. We love Goody, let Goody cook. I totally agree. He gets a lot of hate, but I'm a huge fan of Brian Gutekunst. I think the value he finds in later rounds is absolutely incredible. Jalen Carter for Hobbs, straight swap bet. I'm all in on that. I'm sure that would be a totally valuable thing. The Packers have called about Jalen Carter, but they're not the only team to call about Jalen Carter. I imagine because of the fact that they've given Jordan Davis a huge extension. Jalen Phillips is likely coming back on an extension. I imagine that's going to be a name that's very hotly sought after. I think it's like 4 or 5 teams already called. So I would not be surprised to see if he gets traded. I would be surprised to see if the Packers made a move on him. Not just because that's an awfully big swing for a team that already made a Micah Parsons trade, but at the same time, they need more of a true nose, in my opinion. I love the on-field version of Jalen Carter, but as far as needing a nose, I just don't see it. All right, it is noon. Window has opened. Let's go. We got Sir. I'm a little afraid about that name. So Sir Peeps a lot. Okay, I thought it was something else. But what will compensation for Trent Williams look like? Because you're taking on such a big contract for such an older player, to me, it's a day 3 pick. Maybe, you can get a really desperate team that's just like, we just truly need a left tackle for a day 2, a second, a third. To me, that's really rich for a guy that might only play a couple more seasons. We'll see what happens there. I just hope Jalen Carter doesn't go to an NFC rival. A little worried about the Bears. I feel like they're still in the market to make a move. They've cleared all this cap space with the DJ Moore move, releasing Tremaine Edmonds. They're going to make some kind of swing today. Speaking of swings, the big one everyone's asking about is Tyler Linderbaum, because there are a bunch of really big center needy teams that have a lot of cap space, and only one of them is going to get Tyler Linderbaum. And once you have him, it's just going to go off the rails. Let me share my screen really quick. I can show you guys actually center values. Share screen. All right. I'm a little boomer. We're still working on this. Don't judge me too much. But we're going to share the screen here. I believe, yes, you guys can see it. If we're just looking at pure center contracts and average value for a year, Creed Humphreys at the top at 18. You got Jurgens, Wattenberg, McCoy, Tyler Biotish, you just got $10 million a year. Sean Ryan's going to be on this list, but those are all the centers making over $10 million annually. Ryan's going to be at about 11 from what I have read. The Tyler Linderbaum's going to be in the 20s, and it's going to reset the center market. But with all these center needing teams, I think that's going to be, it's going to reset the center market. And all those teams that have the cap space that are trying to make a run for Linderbaum, this bidding war is going to get absolutely outrageous. They're going to be screwed because the free agent market after Linderbaum's off gets really rough, really, really fast. And that is a concern for these teams. Okay, we have our first breaking news. Sorry, I'm going to be all over the place. Thank you. Alec Pierce is staying with the Colts. Let's get that shared on here. Huge move. Thought the Colts were going to botch this pretty badly after the transition tag for Daniel Jones, but here we go. We've got, going to get this pulled up on the screen. With 4 years, $116 million for Alec Pierce. What an absolutely insane deal. Congratulations to that man. That is awesome to see. And we got Justice Mosqueda here to react. Alec Pierce staying with the Indianapolis Colts. 4 years, $116 million. I'm shocked. I thought he was gone. Gone. So how much? The price of 4 years, $116 million. Sir Peep Slot just said
160, and I was like
40. He's getting quarterback money. That's the first move, I believe, domino to fall for legal tampering.
Yeah, Christian Watson cost just went up. I mean, that's around. So that's 29 APY, right? Jameson Williams was probably the best example before that, right? Mm-hmm. And he got 80 for 3, and that was 27. So, I mean, it went up $2 million. Not crazy, but yeah, Christian's going to cost a ton.
What do you think of Alec Pierce? Because do you remember him as a draft prospect coming out of Cincinnati?
Yeah, I mean, I thought
crazy athlete.
Yeah. He was very similar to Christian on draft day. I was not a fan of the trade up for Christian, less because of Christian and more because I thought you could get Alex Pierce in like the 3rd round and it didn't cost the crazy trade up. And then Alec Pierce went like right behind him, right? There was that crazy run of receivers right after Christian.
Yeah.
So, I was a bit off on draft day on that. I still hold on the trade up cost, but that was our draft when we did draft conversation or draft talk immediately after that trade. We're like, we liked the player. It was the process that bothered everyone. But you can now, I think you can pretty safely argue the process ended up working out, but we just didn't like the act of doing it. So I imagine Watson's going to get 30 per, isn't he, when his contract extension comes up? I mean, I think it's going to be pretty close to a copy paste of this.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
If you're not willing to pay it, trade him.
So what does this mean for Romeo Doubs? What do you think he's going to be making?
So the Dobbs situation, right, was there's like very few wide receivers on second deals between like 20 million per and 10 million per. It's just not an area that gets populated. Really, like you're either a starting receiver and you're getting, it used to be 20, now it's 25 per, or you're basically out of the league, right? The weird ones are the ones in the middle where it's like Jerry Jeudy and Khalil Shakur, who's getting paid to be like a wide receiver 3, and Tutu Atwell getting the 1 year, $10 million contract.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
scratched in the playoffs. Romeo's camp last year at the Combine wanted to sign the Khalil Shakir deal, and Green Bay was uncomfortable with it because of the concussions. And I think Green Bay probably would have moved off of Dobbs if not for the Christian injury coming into the year, and then the Jaden Reed injury almost immediately as the season started, right? He went down in week 2, so they kind of needed Romeo to soak up some snaps. I think he's going to get north of the Khalil mark, which I think was like 13.6 or something. I don't know how much higher he's going to get from there. It was a big deal that, like, so when contract talks broke down last offseason, a year ago. I have to make the timeline very clear here.
Dude, I'm already scramble-brained a little bit right now, so you're fine.
When contract talks broke down, he was involved in part of the DK Metcalf.
That's right.
Package that the Packers were shopping around.
I had forgot they were in on DK Metcalf.
Well, hey man, the national media said DK was never on even on the trade block, and then once he got traded, they were like, "Yeah, this has been in the work for weeks." So yeah, go ahead and listen to them if you want to. He wants to go back to the West Coast, which I think the San Francisco stuff makes a lot of sense. I haven't tapped back into the Dobbs camp in a while, but that was the line of thinking last year, right? So I assume he's going to get north of the Khalil deal. I would assume that if things are equal, he's going to go to the West Coast. That's my opinion.
Yeah. We had a couple questions in the comments already asking about compensatory picks. Do you want to try and explain that, like, in the simplest version, and then like what you can expect as far as what they could get for Dobbs?
At the end of the regular season, the NFL lists players by their APY, which is their average over their lifetime of the contract, right? So, and they do it in reverse order. So there's like 1,700 NFL players who are making less than Sam Darnold, okay? So he's getting 1,700 points for that. And then there's playing time factor, but that's capped at, that's between 0 and 100 points, and it's based off of how the percentage of snaps you play on offense or defense, okay? So that gets added on top. What ends up happening is you have 5% cutoffs. So if you're top 5% contract in the entire league, and that's including rookie deals, the minimum salary deals, all that stuff. If you're in the top 5%, you get the 3rd round pick, and then it just goes down from there, right? It's 5% brackets. What you guys need to know is basically Romeo and Quay are expected to net the Packers a 4th round pick if they don't offset them. And Malik and Rasheed Walker are expected to bring in 3rd round picks. Yeah. And that's if the Packers don't go into free agency and sign someone, which I think if they're going to swing big and cancel one of these picks, I think it has to be a corner based off of their needs right now. Corner or it's defensive tackle, and there's not a defensive tackle worth offsetting these picks. Because ultimately, if the Packers go after a Tariq Woolen or if they go after Jalen Watson, right, what it ends up being is not only is it the contract, it's also, well, they just moved off of Gary, so they might have the cap space. They didn't coming into the day, right?
Yeah.
So that would have been a factor if they hadn't traded Gary. And then you're also flipping a 3rd round pick for a 6th round pick, because that's probably what Enigbari would get. He's 5th in the pecking order. You can only collect 4 compensatory picks. So if you cancel out one of the top 4, the Kingsley one then ends up coming into the mix.
Yeah, I am curious to see how they handle that. Do you think they're more comfortable potentially messing up their comp picks after getting that 4th rounder for Gary?
Maybe. I mean, you still have to make up for the fact that you don't have 2 firsts, right? So I could see that. I really do think it's corner or nothing in the compensatory free agent market. Now there's things that you can do outside of the compensatory free agent market. You could sign cap casualties. Those guys don't count. You can do trades. Those guys don't count. There's ways to manipulate it if you want to spend money and you don't want to lose comp picks. But I think if they're going to burn a comp pick, it's going to be for a corner, and it's going to be one of those top 2 young guys. There's really 2 young, consistent producers at corner. It's Woolen and it's Watson. Everyone else has their weird quirks or are like a 1-year wonder or have been banged up and just got healthy or are very old, right? There's caveats with a lot of these cornerbacks. Those are the two big ones. So I think Green Bay, if they're going to take a big swing and on a compensatory free agent, it'll be that. I could also see them just offsetting the Kingsley Enagbare like phantom comp pick too. $10 million for Eric Stokes, baby.
I had to share it. I had to share it.
So that's kind of crazy because the Raiders traded for Teron Johnson, and Johnson's a spot. But yeah, actually, I should probably hop off real quick and write that up, honestly.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, no worries. I'll start vamping. I'll start answering questions to listeners. Thank you for everyone that's watching so far. Justice, as you know, the corporate overlord of Acme Packing Company, we know the deal. As Packers related news comes in, he's got to talk about stuff. So we're going to remove him for now. He will be back on later. Eric Stokes makes me laugh. This is a guy who almost felt like his body had fallen apart at the end of his time in Green Bay. And then here he is, $10 million per. I'm pretty happy for him. We definitely saw, I think, like that rookie year when he was on the field, stuff that you had flashes like this guy might be a legit corner, but you were so worried about the body. Like, things were falling apart and you just really felt like, there might be some issues there. So the fact that he's able to secure such a nice deal, from what I had heard from Raiders fans, because I had talked about how much cornerback depth do you really need? Because you have Eric Stokes starting, and they're like, he was really good for us. Really surprised me. But I'm happy for him. I think that's awesome. Go get your bag. I'm never going to be mad about a guy getting a bag, even if I don't like the player. Like, these guys work their entire lives to, earn these deals. I think that's awesome. So good for Stokes. There's really not any available corners he'd be willing to lose a day 2 pick on other than Jamel Dean. I don't trust Woolen at all, and I think Watson might be back with the Chiefs. I agree. I think Watson's back with the Chiefs after the McDuffie deal. This is a really good comment, so thank you for this. I don't trust Woolen at all. One of the things I was going to bring up to Justice before that we had to he had to hop off to write about the Stokes deal. I think Packers fans would get really excited about Tariq Woolen, and then they'd watch him play, and they'd hate him so fast. And I mean that just more of like the way he plays pisses a lot of people off. So that is kind of annoying. Jamel Dean's an interesting one. I hadn't thought too much about him as a potential Packers pick, but I'm going to keep that monitored. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's pull some Eric Stokes numbers while we're talking about him, because I'm still just kind of in shock about this move. Just the fact that he turned his career around. It's one of the crazy things about injuries on the outside. You just never know how severe something is. You can always just assume. But it's good to see something like this. So we're looking at Eric Stokes numbers from this year. He was targeted. I've got my camera in the way, so it's kind of hard to read this. It's just in the way. Only allowed to catch on 56% of passes. Only 1 touchdown allowed in coverage. 4 pass breakups. No interceptions, but hey, that's pretty good when targeted. Missed tackle rate, a little high, but just small sample size. That's a pretty good year. Still 27 years old. I really hope he still has some good football ahead of him. So happy for that. I think that's awesome to see. We're going to keep sharing updates as they happen throughout this. But yeah, thank you for that comment. I am very curious to see Jamel Dean and see where he ends up landing. But I totally agree. I think Jalen Watson after the McDuffie trade, 100% back in Kansas City, because if you lose both of those guys in one offseason, that's pretty brutal. We're going to see what happens. Keep me posted as you see other updates coming in. Again, I am trying my best to keep track of everything as it's happening. It's kind of crazy. Interesting news from Tom Pelissero after that Alec Pierce deal. It does look like the two sides between the Colts and Daniel Jones are working on an extension after the transition tag. That still makes me a bit nervous just because it's so unproven how he's going to return. It's like, at an incredible first 9-10 games of the season, goes down, and then you're paying all this money to a guy off a torn Achilles that has had some really down years throughout his NFL career. Curious to see what happens there. We had it up on the screen earlier, but Dre'Mont Jones is heading to the Patriots on a 3-year, $39.5 million deal. I just know that they needed some help up front, so I am curious to see how that deal works. It feels like they've kind of had some journeyman veterans or guys they've turned their careers around, like K'Lavon Chaisson. So one name that they have on the roster I've been waiting to see is Braden Swinson. I believe he's still there, but a name that I'm keeping an eye on. Master Assassin saying, I bet we get Hargrave for that reason we talked about earlier with comp picks and things like that. I think this is happening today. I'm keeping an eye on it. I do believe Hargrave is going to be a Packer. Maybe not by the end of today, but whenever he decides to make a move via free agency. So I'm sure moves are going to keep coming in. Keep bringing in questions as you have them. We're going to be here for a while today. it's like Christmas. This is my favorite time of year, second only to the draft. Put a wrestling mask on. Listen, that's Justice's thing. I think for me, it's cultural appropriation. I don't think I'm allowed to put the wrestling mask on. The fact that Justice did get his luchador mask back from that crazy Bears fan, I ended up respecting that guy a lot more. I was a little scared for Justice's safety when that Bears fan found out about the luchador mask. So we'll see. But I'm so excited to see these other moves. The Daniel Jones one, we're going to keep an eye on. The fact that they're already talking about it makes me feel like we might get that by the end of today. But huge news. Obviously, the biggest news so far: 4 years, $116 million for Alec Pierce. That is a lot of money for a guy. Who had a really good breakout year. And the good news is, if you're a Hoosier like myself, you get to watch Alec Pierce on Sundays, and then you get to watch the Alec Pierce clone and Charlie Becker at IU on Saturdays. It really is kind of freaky how similar they remind me of each other. What other moves are we having? Again, leave any comments. If you have questions about, players, any fits you'd like to see. I really appreciated, I'm not even able to pronounce it, Emerson with his thoughts about Joel Dean. Let's keep seeing as stuff's coming in. Man, I'm still just shook by that Alec Pierce. Let's go up and pull up some Alec Pierce numbers while we're waiting. See. So you can just get a better idea of just the kind of impact he had last season as a big breakout. Going here, let me share this tab. We're looking here, 14 contested catches. I mean, they throwing up the ball to him 32 times is pretty crazy in a season as far as really trusting a guy. I don't think he gets much better than that. 2.1 yards per route run. Average depth of target was 20 yards downfield. Like, it literally was just nonstop. We are chucking it deep to this guy. That's pretty crazy when that's like your identity is the deep threat guy that we're just going to throw up to at all times. 113.7 passer rating when targeted is quite good. You can just see these numbers if you're looking at the bottom of the screen. Contested catches went up. Average depth of target actually went down from last year, but it's just clear he's found an identity that's really valuable in this league. Is you can have all these underneath guys and versatile chess pieces at receiver, but when you also have a 6'3", 211 wideout that can go deep, it provides a ton of value to your team. We're going to keep up with all of these guesses. Good question for Sir Peeps a lot. If you're Goody, what do you do with the Packers wide receiver room? And I totally get this. There's been some buzz about, trade inquiries regarding Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed. Romeo Doubs is gone. This one hurts for me to say. I'd hold on to Wicks, and I would see what the market is for Jaden Reed. It seems like teams are super, super high on him. I think you could get, a potential day 2 pick out of him because he's still on a rookie deal. And it sucks because I think he is a really good player. I think when he's healthy, he's a huge asset to this offense. But you can't have two small wide receivers in a Matt LaFleur offense. You need to put Golden in the slot and have him have some inside, outside versatility. Build the offense around him and Christian Watson. Have Wicks as that, wide receiver 3 or rotational role. And then I'd look at in maybe late day 2, early day 3, looking at another option at wide receiver to potentially fill the Dobbs role if you don't trust Wicks to do it. Maybe a guy like, I'm biased, but Elijah Surratt, Waffle House out of IU. I keep saying if I had, unlimited resources and I could pick whoever I want in this class as the Dobbs replacement, to me, it's Elijah Surratt. I'm seeing Lance and Heidenreich against Zone for Master Assassin. I have not gotten to watch either of them, admittedly. Heidenreich is the Navy kid, is that right? And was he working out as running back? And then I know Bryce Lance is Trey Lance's brother coming out of North Dakota State. I would be curious to see if they would make some kind of move at wide receiver and then draft a guy. That's just what I would do. I can't quit Wicks. I know the drops were such an issue, especially earlier in his career, but he just gets open so well. And I always think about Devontae Adams when I think of drops and guys just wanting to really bag on, drop issues. But yeah, Devontae Adams had the same thing earlier in his career, and he came out and became, an excellent, one of the best wide receivers, and at one point the best wide receiver in football. So I can't quit on him. So, and yeah, I totally agree from Master Assassin. You get so much more for Reed than you do Wicks. just because of those drop issues. And also just Reed was a second-round pick. People are still really high on him, and he has a really damn good slot. I think it would suck to lose either of them. I'm totally cool if they just want to ride with Watson, Golden, Reed, Wicks. But if you want to, mix up a little bit of it, I can totally see that. We want a wide receiver draft talk preview. Yeah, I got to talk to Justice because I really want to talk about wide receivers. If we pull up my big board, let me see how many I've scouted. I've watched a lot. Give me one moment. We have watched 15 guys. That feels like not as many as I was expecting, but if there were some names I would really like, realistically, if they were to take a swing on, it's Surratt. I'm a huge fan. I think my evaluation had him higher than Cooper, and that's just clearly become a super unpopular opinion, which a little surprising, but they're both really good players. Jeremy Bernard out of Alabama is another guy I can see filling that Dobbs role. I just think he's going to get drafted before the Packers are even on the clock with their first pick in the second round. Matt LaFleur is going to love Malachi Fields if he ends up falling, just as this big 6'4" guy, contested catch guy. Of the other guys I've watched that I wouldn't, maybe a day 3 pick on a guy like CJ Daniels out of Miami. He's a big-bodied. He's tenacious. He can run routes pretty well. He's got strong hands, but he's not really like a great separator. But I do kind of like the way that he plays the game at his size and his athletic tools. So as far as other, oh my gosh, Jacoby Lane is another late-round guy at USC, 6'4", 200. He's pretty raw, but he's got those like physical tools that people will like. I'm not a Zachariah Branch guy. I know he ran fast, but awfully small at 5'8", 177. And as much as those guys get a lot of like pre-draft hype, I feel like once they hit the NFL, and Justice brought up Tutu Atwell earlier, I can't see the long-term vision for it working out as a featured role. Whoa. Okay, we got breaking news. Let me go ahead and move over to that. Give me one moment as we're going through here. Let me find these updates. But Kenneth Walker, he is a Kansas City Chief. We are reacting to that. Wow. Good for him. That is awesome. That kind of felt like the logical fit. The thing at the combine, I kept hearing, everyone kind of early on assumed that everyone had kind of assumed that Jeremiah Love was going to be the pick at 9. I go to the combine and everyone I talk to is like, he's not making it to 9. He is to me the number 1 prospect in this draft class, even though he is a running back. So the fact that the Chiefs are like, we're not getting Love, let's just go ahead and address running back right away. Love this fit for the Chiefs. You can only ride with Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt for so long. And when this offensive line is healthy, it's a pretty solid unit, and you can maybe address and add to it even more at pick 9 now. I really like the idea of adding Francis Maui-Noah to this offensive line. Maybe he plays right tackle, maybe he kicks inside to guard. But either way, I just think that's a really fun pick. Shout out to Rookie Scoops. I don't know who is behind that account, but that man has been on it with like all of these moves. So I am expecting that Trey Hendrickson to Dallas tweet any minute now. But this is a huge move for the Chiefs. They've needed to get more serious at running back. It feels like the entire history of Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Yes, they took a first-round pick on Clyde Edwards-Helaire a few years back, but I just feel like nothing has ever worked. But now you're getting a Super Bowl MVP, a proven guy, even dating back to his time at Michigan State, just like an absolutely ridiculous kind of playmaker. I've always been impressed with his vision, his wiggle. He has such a good low center of gravity that his contact balance is excellent. This is really fun. I'm waiting for these numbers. I can't wait to see what he got paid, because that is a big move for the Chiefs that are, I don't know when Patrick Mahomes gets back, but to have a running back like this is really exciting. Masters Aston asking the chances that they take a running back. McGowan, I don't know too much about. Mike Washington is the relative athletic score stud. I don't know if running back's really in the plans because they re-signed Chris Brooks. You've got Jacobs. Chris Brooks is your third down back as far as pass protection. I think he is excellent at that. He's big body. I'd trust him more getting carries over what we saw from Emmanuel Wilson last season. I believe he's gone. But then you even have Damian Martinez on the practice squad at the moment. I think he is a kind of valuable, potential rotational back that could fill in if Marshawn Lloyd doesn't get healthy. So I don't know if it's something we're actually going to see, whether it's free agency or the draft for the Packers. As much as I'd like to see another back or a new face in that backfield, I don't know personnel-wise if they're going to make a move like that, even if it's something I would like to see. So curious to see that, but we're still reacting to this Kenneth Walker news because, man, is he just an extremely fun player. again, I've been high on him for a long time. I hate the fantasy brained part of it where people are like, yeah, but Zach Charbonnet gets all the touchdowns. He always gets touchdown vultured. I don't care as long as they're getting the touchdowns, but he's putting them in position to get those touchdowns. He's 4 seasons in. Let me switch over to this tab so we can have some of these things. But 77 missed tackles forced this season, 875 yards after contact, averaging over 3 yards after contact per rush, is just outstanding to me. 487 breakaway yards. He runs gap and zone. I always like that. I like a running back that can run both systems. That's always really good to see. He's an adequate, not excellent, pass catcher out of the backfield. But this is really fun. I think this is going to be a really ideal fit for what the Chiefs need. I don't think you have to make him the total featured back until later in the year when Mahomes is back. So you can kind of sprinkle in a nice rotation, not wear out his legs too quickly. Think it will be a really fun addition to that offense. I know I keep saying it, but it's crazy. Hopefully, I'm waiting for more of these moves to come in. I'm just very excited. We got a nice little graphic from Kenneth Walker. I'm sure this guy is exciting. Excited to be in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel if you're watching. Thank you to everyone that's here so far. We are going to be doing more live streams going forward, just because it's something I got to get reps in. We will be doing these during the draft. My favorite time of year. I love reacting to every single move as they come in. So if you're a big draft fan, if you love all 22 coaches film, if you're just like football and trying to stay positive about it and not be toxic with the discourse, I would subscribe to this channel. We're always trying to have fun here. I don't like being toxic. I don't talk a lot of fantasy. I'll talk some fantasy from here on out, but I just love studying the game. It's why I love football. So be sure to subscribe if you're here. Really appreciate that you guys are here. Justice's article is up at APC. Perfect. All right. Justice will probably be back on momentarily then, as we're reacting to all of this. More moves. I still want those numbers on Kenneth Walker because I'm sure he just got an obscene bag for a running back. Running backs matter again. And the big thing I keep talking about at every single, time we're talking about running backs or draft prospects, like the discourse around Reuben Bain. In my opinion, I believe the NFL is heading towards more condensed formations on offense. The Rams are kind of the trendsetter for this with 12 and 13 personnel, a lot of tight ends on the field, split the formation, have the wide receivers cut in closer to the line of scrimmage. You're going to see more, heavy emphasis on the run game. The Packers are also trying to focus in on this. You're going to see, I think, running backs get paid. I think you're going to see guys like Reuben Bain start to be more highly coveted despite the lack of arm length. You want 3-down players edged nowadays, in my opinion. You want a Reuben Bain that, yes, he can rush the passer and does exciting stuff, but he's also a straight-up ass kicker against the run. So I would highly encourage you to consider that and keep that front of mind as you're seeing some of the moves this season, next season, both in the draft and free agency. Like we're saying, Tyler Linderbaum's about to be, break the center market any minute, maybe any hour, any day. I'm expecting that deal to get done pretty quickly because he is probably one of the most valuable free agents in this class, regardless of position. We're going to keep up with the updates here. I'm trying to see anything. Again, if I'm missing something, send it in the comments and I will try and react to it. One move we didn't talk about that happened a little bit earlier, but Olamide Zaccheaus is returning to the Atlanta Falcons. Interesting movie. He's a journeyman veteran. I think he's always like a rock solid wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. And he was going to be, maybe if he had come back to Chicago, more of a featured role. The Bears might address wide receiver a bit more after losing DJ Moore and Zaccheaus. But for Zaccheaus, I know he was a really fun player at times in Atlanta, so I'm happy for him. If Tua ends up going there as well. The quarterback competition, I don't think it matters. Zaccheaus always just finds a way to get on the field and make a couple plays. He's one of those journeyman veteran I've always enjoyed. I always like one of these guys that's not a household name but can keep finding ways to stay involved. We'll keep an eye on that. Here we go. We got another move. Looks like Cade Otton is being re-signed to the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm sure that's a huge relief to them. They desperately have needed. Let me get this pulled up. They desperately needed some tight end help if Otton was going to leave. And, they've got a lot of questions on this offense. It looks like they are going to potentially lose out on Mike Evans staying. which is just crazy to think. I've always just assumed that he would die or retire in Tampa Bay. But the fact they're bringing back someone that is important, they're going to need to keep around some kind of this offense. I am worried about this offense, though. I think they really need to address that offensive line, keep building out the wide receiver room. Egbuka is going to be a nice player one day, but it felt like whenever Mike Evans wasn't on the field for Tampa, that offense really, really, really struggled. So I'm a bit concerned about that. But Otten's a good player. I feel like he's been playing his best football as of late. I'm going to complain a little bit right now. I need more. I need more contract details right away. This is just the dopamine hit. Like, yeah, we can see where they're going. I need the numbers, man. Give me the numbers. See where we go. Adam Hunnell says Jerry Jones is a king. Cannot agree more. Just anytime you need a trade done, if you're about to cut a player, just call up Jerry Jones. See if he wants to give you way too much value for the guy. Let's see what happens there. Let's pull up Kate Otten's numbers while we're going through here, just so you can get a better idea of the player that Tampa Bay is getting or keeping, I should say. Pull up these receiving numbers. Bear with me as I pull this up. More of an inline guy if we're just looking at numbers here. I mean, only 1.08 yards per route run. Definitely a downturn, but like this is, a legitimate blocker, an inline guy, 6'5", 247. He's ended up having a nice career as a former 4th-round pick in 2022. But just someone that he played a key role in the Tampa Bay offense. I'm sure they're glad they're keeping him. We'll wait till the numbers get in, but I am curious to see what ends up happening there. I'm sure more moves are about to keep coming in, so just stay tuned. NFC South is wide open. I totally agree. Don't sleep on Carolina, man. I think the quarterback situation is always under a microscope, and fairly so, but that Carolina Panthers team's kind of fun. Dave Canales, for the slowly growing talent on that roster, I think he's doing an excellent job, making sure that they're always playing at their best. And I think as they continue to add talent to that team, I think that's kind of a sleeper favorite in the coming years in the NFC South. NFC South's just been disappointing for too long. I'm going a little crazy about it. We're still waiting on more deals. What questions do you have? Again, subscribe if you're new here. I really appreciate you guys watching. This is fun. Justice Mosqueda with Acme Packing Company will be joining us again shortly. So stay tuned for that. But deals are going to keep trickling in. It's the best time of the year. I am very excited about the draft as well. So if you're new here, we do a lot of draft talk, but it's free agency week. We had to talk about it. For Packers fans watching, I watched the Zaire tape. I did do a video earlier. What day is today? Sunday on Zaire Franklin. Talk about the impact he can have in Green Bay. So check that out. He is crazy instinctive. The body, if his body is starting to break down, that is a concern. But he keeps finding himself in the right position because he reacts so quickly. So really excited about that. Waiting for more. I still can't believe the Rashawn Gary. I know Adam just said, Jerry Jones is a king. I still can't believe someone traded for Rashawn Gary. He was so clearly about to be cut. Trying to go through here and stay focused on all of the information coming in. We finally got the numbers for Kenneth Walker. Let me get this pulled up. $3 years, $43.5 million, could be worth up to $45 per sources. He gets 28.7 guaranteed. Let's see. So what is that annually? We'll just say 15 for the sake of this argument so we can look at running backs. If we're looking at average per year right now, Saquon's still the only guy over 20. I'll make sure you guys can see this. He is the only guy at over 20 million annual average value. But at almost 15, that's going to put Kenneth Walker right around RB3, RB4 range. That seems about appropriate, right behind Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry. Jonathan Taylor feels grossly overpaid in my opinion. I still think that's one of the best running backs in football that never gets talked about, but this feels about right for Kenneth Walker. New free agents are always going to get bigger deals than you're expecting because the cap keeps going up. So that slotting him above Breece Hall feels perfect for me. The Derrick Henry deal's a little bit crazy, but I understand it. And then McCaffrey and Barkley are self-explanatory. So I think this makes sense as far as where he is going to be slotted. Kenneth Walker, 3 years, 43.5. It's a good deal for him. A way to get paid. Running backs need to get paid more. that Zoom conference they had. Who was the running back that all the talks about was being colluded with? Someone wants to let me know in the comments. To the point, the contract values were such an issue that they had the Zoom meeting to fight for getting paid more. It's gonna drive me crazy that I can't think of who it was. So let me know in the comments who that controversial running back was as far as contract. It was a big holdout. Why am I going crazy over this? It wasn't Jonathan Taylor, was it? Was it Derrick Henry? All right. Third down guaranteed money for Walker. Yeah, that is also crazy. That is a lot of money for him. Again, I have no problem with it for the Chiefs. You've been putting off addressing the running back position for so long. Go ahead and get that bag. I couldn't agree more. Steve Palazzolo with the 33rd team just tweeted, "Glad the agents are getting proper credit for their hard work." I love it. It is odd whenever you see it more and more with the insiders. They really like to credit the agents that get the deal done, because I think everyone knows this at this point. A lot of Schefter, Rappaport, Jordan Schultz, all of their sources are the agents. So whenever you're wondering why are all of a sudden they really spending a lot of time talking about the agents, that's why the agents are giving the credit. The agents are giving the news; they want the credit for it. Whoa. Okay. We talked about Jalen Watson a bit earlier. We have Jalen Watson news. Give me 1 second on this. We don't do a lot of live streams here. I promise this will be a lot faster as we go forward, getting this stuff pulled up. So bear with me. But yeah, Jalen Watson to the Los Angeles Rams. They made a move for, man, this is crazy. They just stole both the Chiefs corners, make a big trade, give up one of their first-round picks for Trent McDuffie, and now they also signed Jalen Watson on a 3-year deal to the Los Angeles Rams. That was a name that just as earlier on here had talked about, excuse me, I had talked earlier about as a Packers target if they were going to swing big at cornerback, but here he is with the Rams. I love what the Rams have done. This is a team that was a legit Super Bowl contender in spite of their cornerback room. They give up a late first-round pick to get McDuffie, sign him to a long-term extension. They signed a 3-year deal now for Jalen Watson. They just stole Kansas City's secondary. And I still wouldn't hate if they added another safety. I know they re-signed Cameron Curl, but I had mocked Dylan Thieneman to them in the first round of next year's draft because I love their front seven. And I think if you just completely build out that secondary with the offense they already have in place, because I don't think you need to do too much to that offense, this is the Super Bowl contender next year, the Rams. And I'm not being hyperbolic, even before whatever they make with that first-round pick. Like, McVay is an offensive wizard. Matthew Stafford's the reigning MVP. You've got Puka and Devontae. Corum has turned into a really nice backup to Kyron Williams. You've got a bajillion tight ends. Maybe if they don't take a safety, they take a Kenyon Sadiq and add another tight end to this offense. Dangerous, scary, terrifying team the Rams have right now. I'm a huge fan of this move. That is a if I'm Brett Veach, the Chiefs GM, I'm so mad right now that we already gave you one of our corners. Why are you taking another from us? It is a 3-year, $51 million deal with $34 million guaranteed. 51 divided by 3. I need that quick math real quick. That's 17 a year. Let me get the contracts pulled up so we can see average annual value there for a corner. I'll go ahead and switch over to this. We're looking at cornerback contracts. Average annual 17 per. That's going to put him around the territory of Damador Lenore, Christian Benford, ahead of a guy like Zion McCollum, but also not super duper top of market. I think Jalen Watson's still a really nice player. So that feels like an awfully nice deal to get a really nice player at corner without having to break the bank and get into these $30 million ranges. I know he's no lockdown like some of these names at the top, but that feels like really good value to not have to do a top 10 contract by average market value. What the hell is that ad? Some of these native ads, man, on these roster sites drive me crazy. As long as Stafford stays healthy, yes, obviously the back was a huge concern last year, but the fact that it was a back issue that was suddenly just kind of fine was very odd. I still remember the Sprinter van thing, the weird old trailer they brought to fix his back, and everyone's like, oh, his career's done, and then he comes out and wins MVP. So that's pretty cool. This is a crazy team all of a sudden. I'm still processing that one. That might be the most exciting, nice value move of the free agency so far. We got more breaking news. Another one I am pretty shocked by. Jalen Phillips. Everyone had just kind of assumed he was getting re-signed by the Eagles. Sorry, let me switch over this. 4 years, $120 million, $80 million in guarantee to the Carolina Panthers. We just were talking about the Carolina Panthers, how I liked this team. I like this team. I thought they're heading in the right direction. That is a lot of money for Jalen Phillips, a guy that, man, he had a great bounce back year. If I'm remembering correctly, Achilles he had an issue with a couple years ago in Miami. Is that correct? Someone can correct me in the comments. I'm trying to remember this. 76 pressures last season. That is awfully high. It started coming back. He's 26 still, former first-round pick. 80 million is a lot. I agree with you guys saying that's gross. 80 million is wild. Everyone assumed he was going to the Eagles or coming back to the Eagles. But for the Panthers, I mean, you got to kind of overpay sometimes to get production. They had 30 sacks as a team last year. Pass rush was an issue. Too much focus on Derek Brown, who, in my opinion, might be the best defensive tackle in football and doesn't get talked enough about that, at least in that conversation. He is so dominant, but there just needs to be less pressure on him. So getting a proven pass rusher like Jalen Phillips on here, that's an awfully nice move. Man, 80 million guaranteed is crazy. Let's see where that puts him. I keep pulling up the contracts, but I just like showing this to contextualize, contract value. Let me switch over here as we go here. So that's 40 million a year. Oh my gosh. The man is making Myles Garrett money. Wait, I'm right? This is it 40 million a year? Am I crazy? What did we say? Yeah. Oh, is it 30 a year? 30. Whew. Okay. The math was thrown. 30 million a year. How much in guarantees? We said 80 in guarantees. Sorry, I'm just fully guaranteed. That is edge 5. And then for average annual value, he's top 10 behind guys like Nick Bosa, Max Crosby. Okay. 40 million a year scared me. I thought that was too much. He should not be making Myles Garrett money, but Josh Hines-Allen, Brian Burns money, if he's truly fully healthy and he can be that productive again next year, it's worth the swing. I feel better about 30 million over 40. Sorry, my information overload. That seems a little. It's a lot. The 80 million guaranteed is a lot. That's near the top in guarantees. But when you need a big move or big pass rusher, I think it makes sense. We got more breaking news here. Stuff starting to come in. We got a trade this time. Michael Pittman is heading to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm ready for that compensation, but makes sense with the Alec Pierce signing. Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce are a bit redundant. A little bit of Pittman's a little bit more of a route runner, not a deep threat guy, contact balance player. But with Josh Downs, who I think it's a fun slot. I think you already moved on from A.D. Mitchell. I think moving on from a hefty contract with Michael Pittman makes sense. Plus, the Steelers desperately need another wide receiver. You have DK Metcalf. And now you have Michael Pittman for whoever's playing quarterback next year. That's fun. Look who we got. We got someone back here. Justice, there's some big moves happening while you're gone. Not surprising, but
yeah, I got 3 articles up at Acme Packing Company. If you guys,
dude, we got a comment because someone was excited for you to come back. They're like, Justice just finished writing.
Yeah, I got 3 articles up, and now I'm gonna have to update the consensus free agent rankings to just kind of chip away these guys off the board. But yeah, what do you want to talk about, man?
I mean, the most recent one is Michael Pittman being traded to the Steelers. Let's wait for the compensation to come out there. Jalen Phillips, we were just talking about 30 million a year, 80 million in guarantees. That basically makes him a top 10 paid edge. And as far as guarantees, I think it's top 5. Let me do the math again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. It's top 10 in per year and guarantees.
Yeah. So the Phillips thing, if people aren't paying attention to the Eagles specifically, the reason why you started seeing the Jalen Carter trade stuff was because the Eagles can't really create cap space right now. They are fully leveraged in terms of what they can borrow from the future and stuff. they wanted to keep Jalen Phillips. And I think part of it was, hey, if we can get Jalen Phillips and we can get something for Jalen Carter, right, then maybe something makes sense. Seemed like they wanted Jalen Phillips back. The money clearly didn't work out, or otherwise they would have done it. They would have had to offload someone. They can't do the AJ Brown. Like, I know people talk about the AJ Brown trade. AJ Brown could be as mad as he wants right now. They are not in a position where they can trade him like cap.
Yeah. I think I had mentioned this on a video, but I was told by multiple people in Indy, his knees are in really bad shape, and that's also probably another reason teams might not be super stoked to give up a lot for him.
Yeah. Speaking of stoked, 30 million.
Yeah, that's why you left in the first place.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. Dude, I get it. We have so many signings coming in. Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs. I loved the move. That had been one that we had kind of assumed was going to be happening for a while. If it wasn't him, it was probably going to be like someone like ETN. I think it was the appropriate amount of money for a deal of that caliber. My bigger question is, how much do they want to ride him while Mahomes is out? Or do you like have a pretty heavy rotation and then Mahomes comes back? Hopefully you're competitive enough and kind of ride him at the end of the year. What were your thoughts on Walker the past few seasons? Because I think so many people are fantasy brained that they're like, well, he doesn't get the touchdowns. But I think he's a phenomenal running back.
No, I mean, he's limited, but like Derrick Henry is limited, right? You can only play him on rundowns. Like when Derrick Henry was in Tennessee, and there's different ways to do it, but like on third downs, they would put a fullback in there instead of Derrick Henry because he can't pass block, right? It's the same thing with K9. K9 can run the ball. He can't really contribute in the receiving game. He can't really contribute in the pass blocking game. But if you want to give him the rock, give him the rock. Seattle obviously kind of wanted more of an all-around back, right? That's why they kind of live with the Charbonnet world. But then Charbonnet went down, but did that run game take a step back at all? I would argue it probably improved, right? I'd heard that Kansas City was very interested in ETN to the point that the week before the combine, ETN's camp was telling people we're probably going to go to Kansas City. So I'm interested in seeing.
Oh, no, that sounds like illegal tampering. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Sorry.
Of course. That would never happen.
That would never happen. Why would that ever happen? You can only start tampering as of 40 minutes ago, whatever time it is.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I mean, that's just my general thoughts. Malik, I gotta go again.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when you're back. There you go, Malik. Awesome for him. Let's get that pulled up on here. That is some big news. Malik Willis is, as everyone expected, a Miami Dolphin. Look at that. 3 years, $67.5 million, $45 million guaranteed. A little less than I was expecting for a quarterback of his, like as the number one quarterback in free agency, but so happy for him. It really is the Packers of the South at this point. With Jeff Hafley, John Eric Sullivan, now Malik Willis. I know they poached a few coaches as well, assistant coaches. That's awesome for Malik Willis, man. Getting an absolute bag. Former top draft pick coming here, can make some plays. I'm very curious to see how they utilize him. I think this offense is going to look very different. Can he be a full-time can you use him full-time like the Packers used him as a backup with like these, modified playbook, some of this, keeper run stuff. I really liked how creative they were, but I think what I appreciated, especially last year in his stints, he could throw it a bit more downfield than I think he had the previous season when he was filling in those early season games. Pretty fresh to Green Bay, playing the Colts and the Titans, if I recall, his former team. According to one of our commenters, Case Sorvik, it looks like, is that officially a third-round comp pick? Would love that, man. I'm not going to complain about that. That's a really nice deal for Malik Willis. I'm just very curious to see what it looks like. No Tyreek Hill. You've got Devon Achane still there. Is Jalen Waddle still there? That offense, I'm so fascinated to see what it's going to look like next year, because it's Willis at the helm. So maybe we'll get. I'm sorry, there's so much going on here with all the buzzing and just all the constant updates. But very happy. I'm just very curious to see what it looks like. But we do have the official Miami Packers. It really is happening here. That is a ton of movement. Let's see if we've missed any other moves in the middle of the Malik Willis stuff. The Ravens are giving John Simpson 3 years, $30 million to keep one of their top offensive linemen. That's totally fine. It looks like the Michael Pittman trade was late round pick swaps. Here we go. Oh, just this late round pick swaps. Don't have any other details besides that, but that is quite a bit of money for Malik Willis. Happy for him. He was the number one TLDR. Thanks, Archon. Probably a third round comp. Let's see where that ranks average market value wise among quarterbacks. What was the deal again? Dude, I'm all over the place. You guys got to bear with me. Is all this 3 years, 67.5. So that's what 22 and a half average market value, which would put him. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty low. Above Justin Fields, below Baker Mayfield. Don't hate that for them. The guarantees were $45 million guaranteed, ahead of Cam Ward, number one pick, or just around Cam Ward, a little higher than Matt Stafford. That makes total sense to me. I was kind of hoping someone would give him an ultra mega desperation bag because of Mendoza being like the only quarterback in the class and a barren free agent class. But good for Malik Willis, man. That's not chump change. That is not chump change by any mean. Miami cap plan. Yeah, I mean, $99 million in dead cap for Tua Tagovailoa over 2 years. It's getting a little harder financially. I'm sure he wanted a good fit, and I don't think he gets to be a better fit than that. We do have more news. Surprise, surprise. It's going to be nonstop here for a bit, I imagine, but here we go. Isaiah Likely is going to the New York Giants. 3 years, $40 million. I freaking loved Isaiah Likely coming out of Coastal Carolina. I was like, this is like the best tight end in this class that we're not really talking about. That Coastal Carolina team was so fun. You could see the flashes in Baltimore. It just felt like he was never getting, a full featured role because of everything else there. They already had Mark Andrews, just a lot of tight ends on that roster. Kind of a weird schematic fit for what the offense became when you have a guy like Derrick Henry. I don't think I really want Isaiah Likely as a full inline guy. I like him with a lot of like slot pass catching versatility. So I really like this for the Giants. I think he's going to be a really fun target and option for Jackson Dart and this passing game. I think this Giants offense could become really fun in the coming weeks and post-draft. So I really like Isaiah Likely as a weapon for them. This is a fun move. 3 years, $40 million. We're going to go here again, a little over 13 per. I'm going to keep showing the average market value, just how I kind of think about this. Around the David and Njoku, Mark Andrews money makes total sense to me. A little higher than Jake Ferguson. Ferguson will get paid again at some point. Less than Kyle Pitts, that's a win to me. I like this deal a lot. I think for the Giants, that's a really good move. That'll be fun. All right, moves are coming in really quick, guys. So stay tuned. Keep watching. Leave comments as you're seeing stuff. Subscribe if you are new here. Again, thank you for watching. Really appreciate this as we try to do more live streams in the coming weeks. We're just going to try and get through news as we can. Justice, I'm sure, will be back after writing about Malik Willis because we knew that was going to happen. The Bears are signing Neville Gallimore, defensive tackle out of Oklahoma, 2 years, $12 million. Is that the most exciting deal we can talk about? No, not really, but it is something. The Bears, I think they're moving on from Gervin Dexter, if I recall, or at least trying to find a trade partner. They were going to need some defensive line depth. Gallimore makes sense for them. And it's not a true nose like what the Packers are looking for. So if you're a Packers fan watching this, you're kind of happy to see, the Packers don't end up making that move. So I'm sure by the time Justice is back on here, the Packers will make a move and he'll have to leave again. But, it's totally fine. No way. There's no way. Okay, Sorvik. Let me keep an eye on that one. Ricky Scoops, that dog Twitter account that people were getting mad about. That like at least NFL teams are getting mad about getting a lot of scoops right. It's saying Green Bay Trey Hendrickson. Hold on, sorry. I'm trying to process this. He just deleted it. Okay. Sorvik. Can I be honest with you? I'm glad he deleted it. I don't want that. I don't want that. I'd rather. He's a weirdo. Yeah. Hold on. I just need a second. You gave me a heart attack about potentially Trey Hendrickson. I want more Lucas Van Ness. I'd like another edge, but like Sorrell and some of these other guys, I wouldn't hate. So, man, you just screwed up my whole brain for a minute. So, yeah, hard to see that working out. I agree. Like, that's a really expensive. You're putting a lot of capital into edge for 2 players, and Hendrickson's 31. I got some concerns about Hendrickson. So I'd rather not, but I am curious to see where he goes, unless it's for a pretty cheap deal, and he's getting old. Yes, yeah, I don't want to see him. All right, well, thanks for the heart attack, man, with the Ricky scoop. So appreciate you, Sorvik, for that one. Let's reset. Let's reset, and we'll look at some of these other moves because more are coming in right now as we're talking. Looks like we've got Joseph Osai. The Jets are getting another pass rusher. Osai was one of those names. I remember watching Hendrickson and going, who is this Osai guy, actually? He was a fun one. If I can pull up his numbers really quick. He was one of those guys I was actually quite high on as a potential free agent target for teams. 43 pressures this past season, had 31 the year before. A 3rd-round pick out of Texas. Had some fun tape. Again, when you're watching a player and another one stands out, that always sticks out a lot to me. And I liked Osai. So I think that's a really nice move for the Jets, depending on what the value is. Looks like Schefter just tweeted 3 years, $36 million, $12 million a year. I think he's a proven pass rusher. That plus the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade, 2 really nice moves. I like that the Jets are making these not top of market Uber some desperation swings, but adding a couple really solid players to a defense that was just, is trying to rebuild. You don't have to make extreme long-term commitments to these guys, but they're, foundational pieces as you build up talent around them. Go Jets. You're doing this the right way, it feels like. Hopefully you don't start getting desperate or have, Woody Johnson or Brick Johnson breathing down your neck to make some, big swings, but good job, Jets. You get a round of applause for me. I kind of like that. So I'm sure. How many moves have I missed? If you guys are seeing any others, we talked about the Steelers for trading for Pittman. I need Hargrave to Green Bay to be announced. Man, that'll be a nice little victory lap for this live stream if we get that. Caleb Evans, cornerback out of the is re-signing with the Carolina Panthers on a 1-year deal. I don't know much about Caleb Evans. Caleb Evans. I'm not going to pretend like I do. So I apologize. Jets have a lot of picks too. Yeah. 2 first-round picks, man. You can get Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese in there. And then, you can kind of just have fun, pick best player available. I'm excited about the Jets offseason. I think they're kind of doing this the right way. So we'll see. Here we go. James Pierre, 2 years, $8.5 million to the Minnesota Vikings. Just to add to their DB room. The Vikings, man, God bless that team. Godspeed. I'm quite worried about you guys. It's going to be a rough year. A lot of cuts and restructures, and who knows what's happening. Kyler at quarterback worries me a little bit with second act. I think him and Kevin O'Connell, if Kyler's motivated to try and prove something, could be fun. Saints are signing John Ridgeway to a 2-year, $6.2 million deal. This is just some random housekeeping signings. It feels like not big names, but that's part of free agency. There's me guys. Yeah, we talked about John Simpson, 3 years, $30 million. Just a solid starter, good money, makes sense for them. You don't want to lose too much offensive linemen when your quarterback keeps getting hurt. So we'll see what happens there. Really wonder what Enigbari gets. Me too, man. A couple people that aren't Packers media I've seen started watching a bit are like, this Enigbari guy's got something. I would have been super happy with him coming back as like a rotational edge. I think he is. That is exactly what he is. If you need a backup rotational edge, he's about as good as it gets. I mean, that's a complete compliment. Not every guy is a 3-down starter. I think Enigbari will be a rock-solid rotational edge for a team. I'm going to root for him wherever he goes. So we'll see what happens there. The Athletic Pod was all over him. Oh, yeah. Shout out. Are you talking about Klassen, Robert Mays, all those guys? Good dudes. So if they're fans, they know ball. That's not a surprise. I feel like we're missing so much. So I'm sorry. It's just this. We're only 1 hour in, so this is kind of crazy, isn't it? We're going to keep looking through moves as they happen. I have very few thoughts on John Ridgeway and James Pierre. I apologize for that. So we'll see what happens there. Waiting on Justice, Draymond Jones, where you talked about. Oh, there you go. Speak of Kingsley Enagbari, that's actually hilarious. We already have our Kingsley Enagbari move. It is to the Jets for 1 year and $10 million. We literally just talked about Enagbari, just talked about the Jets. That feels extremely fitting then. 1 year, $10 million. That is awesome for him. Probably a little bit of an overpay, if I'm being honest. But for 1 year, man, and you have cap space to make that move, that's awesome. Good for him. He deserves to get paid. That's going to be really cool. Him and Osai added along with Minka. That's a nice little payday. I'm super excited. And the timing of that is actually really impressive. They massacred my boy. Listen, the Jets are at least making the right moves. In my opinion, they're not desperation trying to turn everything around in 1 year. Only 1 year is weird. I think with journeymen or guys that were never household names, you kind of don't want to take a long-term commitment to a guy like Enagbari's never been a true impactful starter. I'm cool with it. It is a lot of money for 1 year. That part I find weirder. 1 year deal though, you see those all the time for these guys because Enagbari could turn into one of these journeyman edges that just hops around for a couple more years on 1 year deals. So unless he has a really good year, then you can see some more long-term security. And more on the Michael Pittman trade. It looks like the Steelers gave him an extension, 3 years, $59 million. That's a little less than $20 million per. Listen, DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman's fun. That's awful lot of resources, 2 trades and extensions for the two guys. I am a little nervous about that. So we'll see what happens there. Comp pick for Enagbari. You know what? With that kind of deal, yeah, they might be. We'll have to ask Justice about this when he's back on. Unless Ryan is listening. Ryan, you're our comp pick guy for now. I know you're at work. I wish you were on here. But let us know if that is comp pick worthy. I believe it might be. That's an awfully big deal. So I'll wait for someone else to do the calculations. I always lean on Justice and Ryan for that. My brain has enough draft information. You can't get me to calculate comp picks. The Jets are like the pharaohs, had all their subjects get entombed in their pyramid. Johnson be held liable for ruining guys' careers. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't like Woody Johnson. I don't like meddling owners in period. Why do you think I'm a Packers fan, man? Why do you think I'm a Packers fan? It will depend on if Quay gets more, which he probably will. Okay. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate you, man. It would equate to a 7th if we sign guys, so it seems like it's kind of a wash. That's fine with me. Not too worried about that. Keeping up with moves. I still think it's hilarious that we were talking about both the Jets and Enagbari, and then this deal happens. How much have we missed? I feel like we're doing a good job not letting stuff slip through the cracks, guys. So thank you for keeping me honest. And again, I appreciate everyone that's watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Sir Peeps a lot. Who's the Steelers' ideal quarterback? Doesn't seem like Rodgers fits. I think Rodgers is coming back. I'm so annoyed at how he handles these things, but that's him. That, you just have to accept that at this point. I'm going to get in trouble. With you guys, but let's see what happens with Will Howard. I kind of liked the tape of Will Howard at the tail end of that national championship run. I'm just saying. Let's see what he's got. Big statue with not that good of an arm. Kind of run. Let's just see it. Maybe it goes horrible. But in reality, they're probably going to draft a guy. Maybe it's Nussmeier. Maybe it's Ty Simpson. What would be funny is if Rodgers doesn't make a decision by then they draft a guy and then Rodgers gets mad because he wants to come back. But we'll see what happens there. Oh, we got more quarterback news. Fun quarterback news. 2-year deal for Mitch Trubisky. I won't lie. I would have loved Mitch Trubisky as a backup in Green Bay. He's just I think he's really turned into a really fun backup that you can kind of trust when he has to play. I would have actually not hated that for Green Bay if they're looking at backup quarterbacks in this market. But good for the Titans. I think that is a perfectly capable backup behind Cam Ward. I would. It's funny that I like him as a backup now, but I did not like him coming out of North Carolina at all. I was very anti-Trubisky. And when the Bears drafted him, I laughed. But, I'm glad that he's found that career. I thought he was, kind of ideal backup in Buffalo. And now we'll see we'll see what happens in Tennessee. I don't expect anything more than backup. Yeah, I agree. That is a good fit. The people are demanding more best of it. I think the people is just you, Master Assassin, but I appreciate the kind words. We will be doing more live streams. I'm sure there's plenty more we can talk about. I am trying to figure out stuff to do. Let me put it back up here. But I am trying to figure out more different ways to do content in season 2 of this channel, which will be the 2026 season. I'm thinking about live streams on like Thursday Night Football or things like that. But if you guys are subscribed and following along, always throw ideas of what you want to see in the future, because I'm thinking about that. Good fit there. Totally agree. All right, we got more news. It is Demario Davis, another Jet. Man, the Jets are just taking swings now. Let's get this pulled up. Let's get the contract details. Oh my gosh. Here we go. 2 years, $22 million, 15 guaranteed. I know he just turned 37. Demario Davis has quietly been one of the best off-ball linebackers in football for a while. His best days are definitely behind him. He's definitely getting older. Draft live stream. We're just about live streams. We will absolutely do draft live streams, at least for the first 2 days. I don't know mentally if I could handle day 3. Day 3 is typically my reactive moves and just kind of have it on and all day that Saturday, man. Don't ask me. But day 1 and day 2, I got you. We'll be doing some live stuff there. I'm sure we get justice for those as well, and some friends of the show. So we'll work on that, start putting that together. Demario Davis, though, another nice signing by the Jets. Don't have to put a long-term commitment to him. That's not like bank-breaking money. And he's a legitimate veteran. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but, man, he's had a hell of a career. Having an adult in the room with what's going to be a young defense, I really like it. I think that's a solid player. And for that market, I'm surprised there weren't more teams in it. I mean, let's go look at off-ball linebacker, $11 million per for an off-ball linebacker. Off-ball linebacker average year to 11. Yeah, around the Spillane Al-Shire range. That's fine with me. That's cool. He's a really good player. I know he's at the tail end of it, but got to pay a little bit of a bump premium for the Jets right now, and they've got cap space, and they're just trying to build things. It's not a long-term commitment. Be a nice leader, captain for, I actually love this if they draft a Sonny Styles or an Orville Reese and play them as off-ball guys. That'll be really, really fun. So we'll see there. Best available was built for day 3. Dude, day 3 draft will take a lot out of me. If I'm streaming for 2 days straight, days 1 and day 2 of the draft, my brain will be mush by day 3. I'm telling you. I won't know. Here's the other thing. I watch 200, 250 guys a year. I'm not going to know half the guys they draft in day 3. It'll be like some dude out of SF Austin that plays like backup guard, and I'll be like, I got nothing for it. I don't know what value I can bring to day 3 of the draft. As much as I love draft prep, let's pump the brakes a little bit. 25 Commanders version for FA moves. It was 25 for the Commanders. I do always hate if you're trying to seriously contend making a bunch of moves in free agency, but for a team, I think the moves that they're making are more strategic and not like we're trying to contend right away. I don't hate this for the Jets. All the phone he's due is talk about round 1. We're losing sleep over pick 201. I love my day 2 picks. That's always my bread and butter. That's my favorite day. Here we go. LV, Barrett, Sorrell, Colin Oliver, now currently Packers starting edge rushers week 1. I mean, there's a chance Mike is back. Of anyone I'm not going to count out, it's Micah Parsons. But even if he's not back right away, I can live with that rotation for now. We'll see what happens. And they still have plenty of time. Maybe they make a move here. Maybe they make a move in the draft. There's a couple day 2, day 3 edges I would like. I know what you're talking about, Adam. Yeah, they signed a bunch of free agents like that. Bobby Wagner, you're right. And what was funny, I felt like a lot of them actually panned out. But then the problem is after that first year, bodies start breaking down really quick. And that's kind of what happened. I feel like we missed a couple. Here we go. We've only missed one. And it's Austin Hooper reuniting with the Atlanta Falcons. This kind of goes with what we were talking about earlier. You're thinking maybe, didn't the Falcons just extend Kyle Pitts? And you are right. But what we were talking about in my rant earlier, the NFL is trending more towards 12, 13 personnel, more tight ends on the field, more of a run game. You've got Bijan Robinson. I love this move. Get more starting caliber. Get more starting caliber tight ends. It's a 1 year, 3.25. He's not going to be the featured tight end, but he's totally valuable. I think that's perfectly fine. All right. More moves are coming in. Again, thank you for watching as I'm pulling this up. Subscribe if you're not already. Sorry that you have to keep hearing it, but I don't know who's coming in, who's coming out. If you're new here, and I am new to live streams. So we usually do pre-recorded videos, but it's too fun of a day. It's free agency. So we're here to talk. I should have brought water. Guys, that was the rookie mistake. Next time we do a live stream, bring in water. It's a lot of talking. Kenneth Gainwell to the Bucks. Am I streaming this? Yeah. 2 years, $14 million, 10-year guaranteed for the Bucks. Didn't know Austin Hooper was still in the league. I love that. Was he with the Patriots last year? I think he was. Kenneth Gainwell, 2 years, $14 million. I love this as a change of pace back behind Bucky Irving. It's a guy that make plays out of the backfield. It's not breaking the bank. It's a fun player. It's totally fine. Tight end, a big need for the Packers. Yes. Tucker Kraft should be back at some point. I imagine earlier than later. But I think you need, again, 12 to 13 personnel. I would not trust. I believe Musgrave's still under contract. I want a starter. A guy I like in the draft, if we're talking draft targets, maybe he's day 3. There you go, Master Assassin. We can get your day 3 talk out of the way now instead of streaming that Saturday. Sam Roush out of Stanford. He's like the perfect Y in line, kind of an ass kicker as a blocker. Tested really well at the draft. He can fly up the seam. I don't think he's a great route runner, but he's got the body control. He seems like comfortable catching the ball, and drops were an issue with him, but he still looks comfortable catching. Don't know if that makes sense, but I really do like him as that inline option. I think he'd be really fun. The Wyoming tight end was born for Green Bay. I've not watched him. Give me the name. I'll write it down. I'll put it in the draft board. There's still a few guys I got to watch. I'll be doing a top 100 prospects video in the next couple of weeks. I'm just keep tinkering with it. I want it to feel perfect, so when people are getting mad, I don't feel bad about the mean comments about my top 100 big board, so I'll keep tweaking it. But I've still got a few more names to watch. Don't know if I'll get to the Wyoming tight end, but I'll write him down and see if I can at least get some notes on him. A report is that the teams have offered Mike Evans north of $27 million a year. Wow, that's too much money. I'm sorry to Mike Evans, but the injuries are starting to pile up, and he's older. And I know he's like a winning wide receiver, but that's too much for Mike Evans. I'm sorry, man. John Michael Gillenborg. It sounds familiar. I will write it down. Wide receiver market is crazy. Yeah, I can't wait to see what Romeo Doubs gets. That might be happening anytime. You know what? The Romeo Doubs news will come in 30 seconds after Justice comes back. That's probably what's going to happen here. All right, what else are we getting, guys? What else are we getting here? Kenneth Gainwell was the most recent thing I've seen. Still like the Trubisky deal. It's been fun. Jamar Davis is solid. There he is. Hey, Romeo Doubs is going to sign in like 30 seconds now that you're back.
Dude, please. We got me and Tex are writing the same Kingsley and Malik articles. It's chaos in the APC Slack right now, dog. No one is communicating. We're just seeing news and reacting.
Hey, we had a little debate in the chat. What was more surprising about the Enikbari deal? That it's only 1 year, or that it was $10 million?
No, I think if you're going to sign a short contract, you want to do little ones because you want to give yourself a chance to hit the market again, right? Malik didn't get that more APY than Justin Fields did, but apparently he got double the guarantees. Oh,
I didn't realize it was double. I was looking at average annual value.
Yeah, so it looks like he basically got the Justin Fields deal, but instead of it being like a 1 real year plus a team option, it's a 2 real year plus a team option. Dog, Alex Anzalone got $17 million.
Buccaneers, damn.
See, the Packers, I think the thing that people don't realize enough about that John Franklin or that not James Franklin, Zaire Franklin move is it's a cost saving move. I don't think that they got themselves an all pro Mike. I think they were like, yeah, we disagree with the linebacker market right now.
Yeah. And we got fullback news. 3 years, $12 million. Reggie Gilliam to the Patriots. Hell yeah, fullbacks. Let's fucking ride. Oh, I shouldn't have swore. Oops. All right, we got one out of the way. We got punter news. Jordan Stout.
Stout's good.
Mate, he's the highest paid. To the Giants. Wow. Highest paid punter in the NFL.
He's falling Harbaugh.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Sorry for cursing, guys. I was trying not to. I assume most people don't care. Hopefully people aren't super offended by that. And if they are, I'm sorry. We'll move on from it. Yeah, Anzalone's surprising. As a Packers fan, I'm kind of relieved he's out of the division. He was annoying as hell at times in Detroit.
Yeah, solid will.
Yeah. It's really.
I'm just surprised he got that at his age.
How old is he now?
He's got to be pushing 30.
Looking at it. He had a. Did he have a big step back last?
He's 31.
Did he have a big step backwards last year?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
DeMario is still getting work, which is crazy to me. But
37, dude.
Nuts.
I thought it was more of a. What I thought about it is if they draft Arvell Reese or Sonny Styles, it's kind of a nice name to have in the locker room. Start showing an off-ball linebacker the ropes.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even see who he signed. Who did he sign with?
The Jets.
Okay.
So I think that makes sense.
Jets grabbed 2 edges. They grabbed Asai.
I liked Asai, by the way. I thought that was a sneaky good move.
Yeah.
When I watched Hendrickson, Osai kept popping up for me.
Yeah.
Anzalone, the Bucks. But Bucks moves have been odd. I think that team is going to be significantly worse without Mike Evans.
He hasn't officially signed anywhere else, right?
No, a report came out that he's going to be seeking. He's already had offers north of $27 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, all the buzz is that they're just not seeing eye to eye on compensation, so I'm not surprised by that.
Former Vikings punter Ryan Wright is signing a 4-year, $14 million, $8 million guarantee with the Saints. Here, this is why you're here. We're getting the punter news.
How much?
4 years, 14, 8 guaranteed.
Pretty good.
The highest punter move now is the Giants, though, signing Stout.
Do we have Waylon on an extension? I forget. Yeah, we did. We got him 3 for 7.
Hell yeah. Best punter in the league, baby.
2 and a third. 2 and a third is what we're paying him. Guys are getting 4. Yeah, dude. Nice. We love it.
Alex Anzalone news, likely news, more punter news. I'm just going to heat this one up. Makes me smile. Shit, hell yeah, Reggie Gilliam, one of the few greats left. I was sad about Alec Ingold, only just because I wanted a Packers fullback.
Well, Alex Ingold displaces the 300-pounder. And
what's his name again?
Matlock.
It's Matlock. Hell yeah, dude.
His last name is Matlock. He's the defensive tackle combo fullback, and the Packers had him on a pre-draft visit, and usually they target those guys. So I wouldn't fully count out the Packers getting, especially if they want to be smash inside run like we know they are.
Dude,
I could see it happening.
A Scott Matlock jersey would go so hard. Dude, he is a pale ginger, man.
He's Boise, Idaho. I don't know where he's from originally, but
hey, shout out Boise. If any of the stepbrothers are watching, Colt, Chaz, Clay, all my Boise homies.
You got family up there? My brother went to Boise State.
All 3 of my stepbrothers live out there now. Again, shout out Clay, Colt, Chaz. Those are my guys.
It's pretty up there.
I'm just looking at. Hold on, I'm going to screen share this. I think this is worth showing. Dude, Scott Matlock sounds like a detective.
Oh yeah, like old timey. Like, is he good cop or bad cop?
Oh, look at this guy. Bad cop, dude. Does this guy look like he plays by the rules?
No, off a name alone. Like, if you just walk in like CBS, right, and you just say like Scott Matlock, I think they give you like $50 million, and they're like, make the show. Done.
They give you a badge and a gun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like, what do you need?
We're in the Scott Matlock portion of the live stream, which I've got to do Milwaukee radio at 2 Eastern, so we will end it probably like 10 minutes before that. I apologize, but I've had fun. The comments have been unhinged a little bit. Okay, so Justin, we got to talk about this on air because this has come up in the comments. Okay. Draft live stream, are you down for draft talk?
I'm very busy on draft week. but
okay,
I'll pop in and out.
okay.
For sure.
We'll do them.
Especially day one, it should be super.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was assuming. Is day one would be easier for
Day two,
you.
I'll probably have a little bit.
Day two will be tough.
Day three is brutal, especially if we get the extra comp pick too. Like,
thank God. Okay, so I was saying I'm all the way out on a day 3 mock draft or a day 3 live stream. The people are mad.
I'm just way too big. Like it starts like as soon as I get up.
And the picks happen within like 30 seconds of each other.
Yeah, and then there's like gorillas on the screen, and you have to pay attention to the little ticker at the bottom. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know why we have orangutans make draft picks, but.
Master Assassin says that Scott Mallow has 17 outstanding complaints for unnecessary force. I'm sure people are just hopping in the stream going, why is this guy's face on the screen? But it's Scott Matlock, dude, future Packer. Did we just hit a lull in free agent signings? This is weird.
Maybe. I'm literally scrolling from
like 3 hours
ago. I'm trying to update the like top 200 free agents and like who is on the board, who is not on the board.
Commanders are signing Amik Robertson, 2 years, $16 million, 9.3 guaranteed.
To like play the slot for him or something.
Yeah. Do that. Was he hurt last year? The Lions secondary was brutal.
He's got a club on.
Oh, the picture, you're right. Hey, but he's playing.
Yeah. Did he get hurt? Of course he got hurt. He plays in the NFL.
He plays on the Detroit Lions where they play on concrete for all their home games. Oh, here we go. Adam says that we got to save our day 3 draft stream for 2027 when Goot is just running day 3.
I mean, day 2 too. I mean, we should get the Malik pick is going to be a 3rd. The Enigbare is a 6. We can offset that now, by the way. Because Enigbare got 10, we can sign a guy to 10.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Comp pick. We can still club before, so.
This was the question I was going to ask you. We had Ryan Archon answering it for us. Here we go. Where did I just see it? Bears are signing safety Kobe Bryant.
Okay. He was one of the top guys.
He was? Okay. I know.
Position.
When I think safety on that Seahawks team, I was just thinking Eman Worry. So
he is the 2nd ranked safety.
Oh, wow.
3rd is Jaquan Brisker, who the Bears are letting go.
So technically an upgrade. Congrats to them.
The other guy is Brian Cook from, I think, Williams.
Ben Solak, our guy, our buddy, friend of the show, just said it's a great Dennis Allen safety. Exciting fit.
Yeah, I mean, quarters is basically man. And Dennis Allen really plays quarters and man. I mean, that's the world that he kind of lives in. So
it is weird there's a Kobe Bryant in the NFL. Hurts my brain sometimes.
Buddy, the volume of LeBrons we're about to see.
Oh, my God, you're right.
I don't think I'm fully prepared for it.
There was this TikTok I saw the other day. Man, I feel old just saying I saw a TikTok. But it was a rap song called Why Are There So Many Jalens in the NBA? Because there's like 30 Jalens now, and there were 0 documented ever before Jalen Rose was born.
Really?
Yeah, he was his mom literally just made him the first person named Jalen.
That's funny.
The Titans are signing Daniel Bellinger. That's not that exciting. Was Bellinger the San Diego State guy that had a brother that we scouted?
I don't think so.
Am I going crazy?
Because he's not the he's San Diego State. He's not the San Diego State guy that was the volleyball guy. There was the volleyball guy that the Texans took. And I was like, I don't think this guy can play football. And then he flamed out in the league in like 2 years.
Bellinger was San Diego State.
Yes, he was. I don't know, brother.
I might be mixing something up. Dude, at this point. Yeah, I don't think so. I think I was wrong there. Next year, top 3 MLB draft pick LeBron.
Is there?
I don't know. Or maybe he's saying he's going to play baseball and then go play for the Wizards. I don't think LeBron could play baseball.
Do you remember that dumb tweet that guy had where it was like athletic feats and what would the easiest one of them be? And he was like, yeah, you can luck into That's like I've seen a lot of stupid tweets in my lifetime, man. I've been on this website since 2012 probably. That's the dumbest one I've seen.
We got the Kobe Bryant details. 3 years, $40 million.
That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of these safeties are going to get paid like top money.
No. What's that put him on? I keep putting up average annual value. It's helping me personally.
13 and a third.
13 and a third. So that puts him. It's like top. It's Talanoa Hufanga money. Amani Hooker.
Yeah, money. And Hufanga was coming off an injury when he signed that too.
I still don't. I love Hufanga so much. That's one of my favorite just players overall in football.
Oregon boy.
Is he really? Not
Oregon Ducks. Oregon proper. Yeah.
Dude,
Same with Troy and.
So fun. There is a kid named LeBron that's going to be a top 3 MLB pick. That's crazy.
Good for them. Don't end up with the A's.
That poor organization.
My brother-in-law is a big A's fan, and all I know.
Where are they located now?
They're in Sacramento, but they have the Vegas patch on their shoulder. But they don't go by. If you watch their games, it's ATH, right? They don't go by a city. They're just the Athletics. It's like Prince, Tyler.
That owner is a scumbag.
My brother-in-law has a kid. He has already made it known that we cannot buy any. I think it's Old Navy. Is who own the guy who owns the A's owns Old Navy. We're not allowed to buy the child any Old Navy products.
That's incredible. I really respect it.
He's 10 toes down. I mean, they've lost everyone. I mean, the Warriors at least just moved across to the Bay, but I mean, they lost the Raiders. They're losing the A's.
Yeah, that's rough.
All you got is Cal Berkeley football, baby.
3 years, 40 for Bryant. Bears cap situation's a bit better, but they still need to sign a couple more DBs.
So what the heck is Kansas City doing? Because they traded away one corner and then let Jalen Watson go.
Dude, the Rams basically fleeced the Chiefs out of
their corner room.
Listen, I was saying this when that signing happened. I think that is the scariest team in the NFL now, because like their Achilles heel was literally like, we have no corners. Emmanuel Forbes is a starter for us, and now it's like we'll just take 2 really, really solid corners, and they re-signed Cameron Curl. I'd still think about taking Dylan Thieneman with that first-round pick, or maybe you take a Kenyon Sadiq, but like that's a scary team.
So Cade Mays, 3 years, $25 million to the Lions. So he had less of a market than Sean Ryan did. Which
would you have rather had him?
In this scheme, I would rather have Ryan because he's a people pitcher.
Yeah, he is.
Mays was on a practice squad in 2024. He didn't come into this year as a starter. I always thought Ryan and him should have been viewed as closer than where people had him graded and stuff.
Oh, did Aaron Wilson break this one? That's surprising.
He did. Wilson gets him.
He gets him.
Wilson got like the Neiman contract details.
I think the problem with him is he's such a transaction poster.
Yes, and then just like random Texans like interview tweets,
and then he'll get scoops but the scoops will look like the transaction tweets. So you just he gets a bad rap.
He gets news. He's the guy who always gets the Packers visits. He's the guy who always gets like the practice squad moves, like any like lower level deal in the NFL. Like Rappaport and Schefter are getting all the big ones, and then he's just down there just feeding on the like $2 million transaction.
Yeah. Listen, I'd rather that be your bit than like the agents kept telling me how much they just love this guy, and it's just like the real butter up the player. And like that wasn't news. You just talked about how everyone loves this guy.
Yeah.
Those tweets from a specific person in particular are annoying. We won't mention any names. They might be on the screen though.
He blocked me.
Did he try to fight you at a Starbucks?
No, I said
dude, he was on home turf on there, dude. He was on his own craft.
Levi identified him as Coffee Boy in an article, and he got me. But to be fair, it was the 15th time that he reported that Odell Beckham Jr. was going to sign with the Packers.
Oh my God!
That never happened.
It seems like he's improved dramatically, especially over like the last year. But sometimes he does those tweets where I'm like, "Come on, man!" Like,
I mean, technically a year, right? Last year's combine where he tried to fight whoever.
Rappaport. Dude, it's unfair. He's half your size and you're playing on home field.
Yeah,
why are you trying to
stay, bro? Rappo is not very big.
No. Let's see. Malik Willis is on Pat McAfee right now. That's cool. Good for Malik.
Good for him.
I'm excited. So, do you think they're going to try and tailor that offense around like what the Packers did with Malik, or you think it's going to be a little more traditional?
They better. They better, because the Packers didn't run their normal offense. So if you want that production, I mean, you're going to have to do some interesting stuff.
Who was the offensive coordinator there now?
Slowick got the promotion.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. That's very interesting.
Former, what was it, like Green Bay West, I think is where Slowick went to high school.
I did not know that.
Green Bay Southwest. I apologize.
Archon is in here. He's surprised Ryan got materially more than Mays.
Yeah. The Mays deal is interesting, or the Ryan deal is interesting. So basically the Packers pay, it's like a 1 year, $14 million contract. And then the Packers basically, the way it functions is they have a $9 million option next year and a $10 million option the year after that. But the cap hit is super small. So they can kind of pivot in any direction. But again, I don't think NFL teams are as hot on Mays as the media was. Which, obviously it's easy to say that now with the contract, but
man, do the Packers sign Hargrave?
Well, he's not available yet.
Oh, I thought he was a free agent. Why am I?
No, because all the Vikings have to get
That's
under
right.
the salary cap, but they're holding out and holding these guys hostage until Wednesday, because you don't have to actually get under the salary cap until Wednesday, because that's the start of the new league year. So Aaron Jones, him, and Jonathan Allen are not available yet. I've heard the Packers are in conversations with him. That's
well, that would be tampering.
That's illegal.
Yeah.
That's illegal, Tyler. So that cannot be true.
Sorry, it is legal now. No, I'm just kidding. This is just all tampering. I know. No, all tampering is legal. It's actually all tampering is legal.
Yes. There's certain tampering is legal.
No, I don't know. It's called the legal tampering period. So if they get caught, like, listen, you guys said it was legal.
Likely signed?
I like Likely, man. I think being in a room with another starting tight end was unfortunate. Like, also, I didn't like the scheme fit with the offense. I think he'll be fun somewhere else. I love that Coastal Carolina team ripped, dude. That was So what was the offense they were running called? The flex bone or whatever?
I can't remember.
It was so funky. It was so fun to watch.
They had like 120-pound centers playing on that team.
Yeah,
crazy. The BYU Coastal game.
Oh my gosh!
Polar opposites that pandemic year, because you had
that Zach Wilson?
Yes, that was that was the pandemic year. It was like Tonga's like 350 pounds going against this teeny talented but teeny tiny offensive line. One of the most fun games I've ever watched in my life.
I was in love with that Coastal team, man. What a fun story that was. I got to give a shout out to all the people that have been in this comment room for this long, like Adam, Master Assassin, Kay Sorvik. I'm sorry who I'm missing. Sir Peeps, all these people. It's been fun. People are asking for more live streams from me, Justice, but the one thing I learned today, I need to bring water next time. It's a lot of talking.
One of these. This is the first time I've had one of these.
What is it? Ooh, is that a Red Bull?
Iced Red Bull, iced vanilla berry. I've taken one sip out of it so far.
Listen, I'm more of a white Monster guy. If I don't drink energy drinks, but a white Monster I can go for every once in a while. I'm just a coffee guy.
The problem with coffee, I overdo it, man. I'll make the whole pot, drink the whole pot.
Ugh, I used to do that when I was the Bleacher Report 5 to 2 a.m. shifts. Pot of coffee at 8 p.m. Not good. Dude, okay.
I kind of like what the Jets are doing with their edge rushers, by the way. Like Osai,
I like Osai a lot.
And Egbara, if you're going to play a bunch of man and you're going to blitz guys and you don't really need pass rush production from those ends and you just need to be able to stop the run, like Osai and Egbara make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I like it. And again, Demario Davis
is still the Jets, but I like these moves.
What about Minka? I liked Minka.
Yeah, I forgot that got done. I mean,
a seventh.
I got woken up today. Addie shakes me and goes, Rashawn Gary for a 4th-round pick? I said, no effing way, dog. I've never shot up faster.
Dude, the emotional roller coaster of Diana Rossini tweeted 3rd-round pick. Everyone lost their minds. And then she's like, sorry, day 3 pick. And everyone's like, still, they got a pick. And then it came out 4th-round pick, and everyone started freaking out again.
Man.
Why do people hate Brian Gutekunst so much?
What do you mean?
People hate that guy.
Fans, okay.
Fans, sorry. No.
Gary hates Goot because he got traded to the Cowboys.
No. People just love to hate on Gutekunst, and I just can't see it.
I mean, he got like 136 passer rating out of Malik for a 7th-round pick, and is going to turn that into a 3rd. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Do you think he regrets trading for Micah Parsons like he was asked multiple times to the combine?
Dude, grow up. No.
Getting to share that moment with him and both of us trying not to laugh as we made eye contact is like going to be a highlight of my career.
I'm happy that the full video came out because you got to like see his face and the whole reaction and look directly at Tyler. And they're just like,
dude, I'm so when people ask dumb shit at the combine, I am not good at hiding my like physical reaction to it. And I
have the worst poker face in the world, dog.
Well, the problem was too, the guy was sitting or asking the question was directly next to me. And so he asked this dumbass question. And I'm just like, you think you regretted trading for the greatest Packers defender of my lifetime post Reggie White?
Yeah.
Like I loved Clay Matthews growing up. Clay Matthews didn't hold a torch to what I was seeing from Micah Parsons last year. Someone asked, hold on, Sorvik asked, will the Packers make a signing today?
So, I think the 2 things you should be alert for, right? The way the Packers contracts, cap situation, and their compensatory picks, basically their contract scheduling. The 2 things you should be looking for is massive swing, like top of the market swing.
A Jalen Carter trade is like what comes to mind immediately, something like that.
Well, yeah. But I think that's off the table now that Jalen Phillips is gone.
Yeah, yep.
In Philadelphia because of the cap situation. I think that's why they were trying to make it go. I think for the Packers, it's either an interior defensive lineman or it's a corner. Now, Jalen Watson just got signed. There's only 2 consistent young producers at the cornerback position. It was Jalen Watson and Tariq Woolen. So at this point, I think it's either Tariq Woolen or they're going to keep those top 4 picks. The other thing you could look for is offsetting that $10 million salary that Kingsley Enagbare just got. And that's the phantom comp pick. That's the one you can offset. It doesn't impact you because he's 5th in the pecking order. You can only collect the top 4 comp picks. I think that you're probably more in the market for like I don't know who that guy would be at corner. I mean, maybe it would be like a Josh Jobe or a Cam Taylor-Britt. I think on the defensive line, the guys who make the most sense are the former Gannon nose tackles, right? Tonga,
dude. I want Tonga.
Lopez. And then outside of that, I think the Packers are just going to operate in the trade market or the cap casualty market.
Yeah.
Why I think the Packers, they might be more busy on Wednesday than they are on Monday because Hargrave is going to become available on Wednesday, right? So, yeah.
What is like a crazy trade the Packers could make that you think would still be kind of realistic?
I think the Jalen Davis.
Jalen Davis?
Well, what crap? I'm spacing on his name. I mixed both of them. Jalen Carter trade is off the table. Yeah. I don't even know what you would have to offer. I think you start the conversation at like does it take Wyatt Reed in the next 2 years, 2nd-round picks? It might.
For Carter?
Yeah. And you have to pay him. I don't think you do it. I mean, I don't know what corners are available. Like, if you start seeing a corner get Moody, maybe
Pat Surtain.
Yeah.
Like the corners that are at top of market are also on contending teams for them. Like even J.C. Horn, like the Panthers are turning it around.
What do you think of Sauce?
What?
Sauce. Are the Colts contending?
Bro,
they're not going to trade him. But.
Shut up. We don't want to talk about that. They got Alec Pierce. They kept Alec Pierce. I'm happy with that.
They did.
Only traded Pittman, which was probably they got off that deal. That was a huge winner for them. All right, let's see. I'm looking at top of market corners right now. What would be a crazy one? Not Ramsey. Jerry, you want a 7th for Deron Bland?
Packers had Bland in on a pre-draft visit, but I don't think they think of him like that. And he fits. He's a spot drop zone guy, and the Packers are going to be playing match coverage now. So
I met Deron Bland's brother while I was at dinner with a buddy while I was down at Shrine. Dude was cool as hell. College teammates with Daniel Whelan. He said, "What?
UC Davis."
Yes, and he said that they used to do special teams work, and when Daniel Whelan didn't have a hang time of more than 5 seconds, the entire team would have to run laps. So that was their special teams periods.
Yeah.
DJ Turner. Ooh, someone says DJ Turner is an option. Bengals, they suck. What's his contract at? Where are we at? Turner? Am I crazy? Is he a free agent?
I have no clue.
Hold on. I can't do math real quick. Turner. Now here he is. What the fuck is that contract? Am I sharing this?
$6 million. Yeah, you are. So he's
on
a rookie deal last year of his rookie deal. He got the PPE boost for his last year.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. I haven't heard PPE in a minute.
Yeah, I think it's Brooks, Wicks. I think Kraft got it, but like that's not even going to be relevant. And Valentine, I think they all got the PPE boost.
He's 5'11", 180. Oh, this is the guy that ran the 4.26. 77.3 passer rating when targeted this year. Only allowed to catch on 46.8% of passes.
Oh, he's way too small. He's 178 pounds. No, the Packers aren't going to look at him. He's 15 pounds too light.
No, you're no fun, Justice.
Hey, I'm just here to call balls and strikes, baby. That's it.
You're right.
I'm interested. The linebacker market hasn't moved. Devin Lloyd thinks he's going to get 20, and Quayce Camp thinks he's going to get 15. We haven't really seen that. The only corners or the only linebackers that we've had signed are geezers. It's been DeMario and it's been Alex Anzalone. And Trey Edmonds has been floating out there for days now. I mean,
that one. The fact that he got cut and then couldn't sign anywhere and there's still nothing is. But I also never thought he was that good. Maybe it's a little mean, but
no. I mean, he always got the he's only 15 years old.
Can the Packers get Max Melton? Adam's asking.
He could. We probably could. He got lit up last year. I mean, everyone got lit up.
Oof. Yeah. Okay. Missed tackle rate of 23%.
We got people printing out my top 100 and then
Connor
and posting it on Twitter. That's so funny.
Connor's helping me with
good for
a
him.
mock draft thing. Did Connor used to work for someone covering the Cowboys?
I don't know. I don't know Connor. I don't think I'm about to follow him.
Okay,
I mean, that's pretty funny.
I think he is. He's not in the NCAA, pals, is he? Here we go. This is the good one that can be end on the stream. Linderbaum. You ready? Hold on. Don't look. I want you to be surprised when we pull this up. The Raiders, 3 years, $81 million, $60 million guaranteed.
That's highest 27.
That's Mike Evans.
That's $27 million per. And people
no center had ever made more than 19.
Yeah.
And that was Creed Humphrey. Oh, I'm not sharing this. I'm sorry. There we go.
Woo! Guaranteed. Woo.
You got to protect my son.
He's going to be able to sign another one. Damn.
You got to protect my child, Fernando Mendoza.
Dude, there's so many teams that are about to just like walk directly off a bridge right now. There's so many. The need for centers is so high in this league right now.
It made me feel a lot better with the Sean Ryan deal. Like everyone's like, that's a lot of money, but the center market was going to be bad. Oh my God. That's so much money. He is so, I mean, we do this with him coming out of Iowa. Well, I'd almost said Minnesota. Holy
no, I mean, he was a first round pick.
It was so no-brainer. Like, that is what a center looks like.
Yeah.
Does the league ignore this contract for future center negotiations? I don't think so.
like the Deshaun deal.
Yeah, we just
this one does not count. This one doesn't count.
No takes backsies, but this doesn't count.
Yeah.
We need to develop more centers. Why do the Raiders hate Powers Johnson so much?
Dude. So, like, he's not a super smart guy, if you catch what I'm picking up.
Yeah.
Oregon tried to tell people when he was coming out. And, yeah, I think if it's going to work at the next level, it probably has to work at guard. It's not going to work at center.
Yeah.
There's a reason he slipped in the draft. There's a reason he got benched in Vegas. The interesting guy I've heard at the center position is like teams want to move Parham back to center because of the desperation at center.
Wow.
And I'm like, Parham is the reason why Josh Jacobs became a free agent because they couldn't run the ball because he wasn't very good. Like, I don't get what we're doing here.
How about we just start telling college teams to start taking center development seriously, actually put big guys there?
No, they're not good stewards of the NFL's like
they're not
25-year-olds at this point.
Willie Lampkin, baby. I need more Willie Lampkins in my life. Cardinals also signed Tyler Algier to a 2-year, $12 million deal. Take it, they do not want to draft Jeremiah Love. I don't blame them, though. It's pretty early.
I mean, that's kind of a backup. Like, that's not even necessary.
Well, they also restructured James Conner.
So, right? Yeah. That happened yesterday.
That's a fun backfield, at least, if Connor's not totally dead.
Yeah.
Algier's good. Like, for a backup running back, that's kind of like ideally what I want.
Yeah, he's fine.
I wonder if
he'll be in the backup running back market or not. Because
I said I don't think so.
I know people don't want to hear it, but like, I really could see them being like, "Nah, man, we like Marshawn Lloyd."
Yeah. Well, Chris Brooks is your pass pro back. Jacobs.
Yeah, and they made some move. Like, first of all, Pierre Strong is on the practice squad. He's a former 4th-round pick, and then
I like Damian Martinez.
They added him late. He was expected to be a top 100 pick.
Didn't he test awful or something?
I don't know what happened, man. But like, he didn't even make it through. Like, he got cut by the Seahawks and didn't even last from the practice squad throughout the year. So who knows what the heck the actual story is there? But that guy's got some talent. So I could see them just being like, we have 3 guys competing for that, ball carrier 2 spot already.
Justice, I think it's time we call it. We got the Linderbaum deal. The overlay picture on this was Kenneth Walker and Linderbaum, so I think got both of those names taken care of. I've got to do radio in 10 minutes, and I think I need to drink some water because I can already feel my voice going away. But a sincere thank you to everyone that's watched. That was a lot of fun. I will try and do more of these. I got to figure out events to make them out of. Justice, a huge thank you for hopping on. Probably a horrible week for draft talk, but if we were to do draft talk, would you want to do it later in the week?
Oh, yeah. You wasted my time with all these linebackers.
So they suck, don't they?
They're terrible. And
why do you think they traded for Zaire?
In the NFL, and you made me watch linebackers, and the Packers signed 2 of them. So,
did you at least like Jake Rodriguez?
We'll talk about it.
Oh, no.
I like parts of Jake Rodriguez.
Yes, there we go.
That's the problem with all of the linebackers in this class is like there are 3 traits I like of yours and then 3 more that I don't.
Yep. I think you nailed it. There's actually some guys they're not being heralded that I actually do like. So we'll talk all about it. So the Draft Talk Sickos will be back. Thanks to everyone. So thank yous. Really appreciate that. Oh, my God. So not tomorrow. Let's do Thursday. Could you do Thursday?
Thursday would be better than tomorrow or Wednesday. So, yeah. I think Wednesday we might be active. So I'd like to not be tied up that day.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Thank you to everyone for watching. Appreciate y'all. Have a good rest of your day. And I'm sure as soon as we end this, you'll get some crazy Packers news.